What's up guys, I feel like it's been so long since I've last talked to you. Not really, it's been like a whole 24 hours or so. Anyway, today's review is The Nice Guys. The Nice Guys is a neo-noir mystery comedy film directed by Shane Black that takes place in the 1970s and follows the crime-solving duo of Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe's character is basically muscle for hire. He seems to mostly specialize in beating up on creepy dudes who cause trouble for underage girls and other similar situations. Either way, he crosses paths eventually with Ryan Gosling, who's a private investigator. They originally meet because Russell Crowe is paid by this girl named Amelia to keep Ryan Gosling from searching for her. He roughs him up a bit, breaks his arm, and then eventually moves on from the situation. As the story progresses, Gosling and Crowe's interests align, and they team up to find the girl who I mentioned, Amelia, who goes missing with several different people wanting to find her for various reasons. The rest of the story is basically spent following clues and running into bad guys who are trying to kill Amelia, as well as Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe because they're just in their way. I have to say though that while I don't think this movie is quite as good as some of the critics are claiming it is, I still think it's pretty damn funny with a couple really good acting performances. So let's start with Russell Crowe. So Russell Crowe's character is named Jackson Healy, and he's sort of a broken man. He pretty much falls into the only thing he thinks he's any good at in this world, and that's busting people up or enforcing. What's interesting though is that Russell Crowe has never been a private investigator until he actually teams up with Ryan Gosling's character Holland, and he's better at it than Holland, who's been doing it for quite some time. Crowe's character is painted as sort of an anti-hero because it's like a much funnier, less extreme version of Dexter. He breaks the law and beats the shit out of mean guys who mess with these girls or clients of his. Jackson Healy the Enforcer is basically how we know him. Russell Crowe really did a great job in this film though, and while his character is painted as somewhat serious, he actually has a lot of really funny parts. His comedy chops were a lot stronger than I thought they were going to be coming into this movie, I gotta be honest. I thought that Crowe was going to be the serious, level-headed character while Gosling is the ridiculous comedy relief. And to an extent that's true, but Crowe definitely has his shining comedic moments in this film as well. The other two main characters in this movie are Holland, played by Ryan Gosling, and his daughter Holly, played by Angourie Rice. Ryan Gosling's character is sort of this drunk, immature private investigator that sort of scams people out of their money by taking longer than needed on cases and things like that. His daughter Holly is sort of like the adult in this family because she sort of exhibits more maturity and better decision making as a girl in her teens maybe than her father, who does somewhere in his 30s or 40s. Holland is the funniest character in this movie, but that's pretty much because the script demands that he is. He has a lot more opportunity than the other characters to make you laugh, and he takes advantage of it. Gosling really is hilarious in this film. His daughter Holly though is my favorite character in this entire film, because when Russell Crowe isn't around for whatever reason, Holly is the one that keeps Ryan Gosling in check, who is sort of the leader of this ragtag group of crime solvers. And this group does include young Holly. It's kind of just something you have to adjust to as the movie progresses, that one way or another Holly is going to find her way to these action-packed, dangerous scenes that she should definitely not be a part of as a kid. The thing is though that she's always very helpful to our PI's goals, and her assistance actually proves vital to their efforts. It also shows that Holland is not the world's greatest dad. As a moviegoer though, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief here because some of the stuff that happens in this movie is just so ridiculous that you almost can't even believe it. While the movie is a comedy and it's meant to be ridiculous, there are some times where things just happen out of sheer luck and ridiculousness, and it can just be a little too much. I also felt like the first act of the story was actually kind of slow and not near as interesting as the other two acts to follow. Not that the first act was necessarily bad, it just started pretty slow, and I was just thinking like maybe that things would be a little bit funnier and more action-packed from the get-go, but that's not really the case here. I think that the sum of the parts is greater than the whole for this movie. What I mean by that is that the performances of the three main actors as well as the other supporting actors are really good, and the story is solid but nothing fantastic. It's not necessarily like I didn't think the story was entertaining or anything, it's just that I wasn't always exactly sure what Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling's motivations were and what they were doing some of the time. The main antagonist also doesn't have near enough screen time for how good he is. Also, things just sort of happen for the characters without any sort of rhyme or reason. It's almost as if things just sort of drop out of the sky. Overall though, I'm still gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10 because the acting is superb, the comedy is actually really funny, the story is pretty good but not great, and the music actually really puts you in that 70s feel in the overall tone of the movie. So did you guys get a chance to see The Nice Guys yet? What did you think of it? And if not, let me know whether or not you're excited to see this movie. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next review. This is WillFoxification signing off.